you. Ever find your mind wandering to the idea of a trip to Asia? Maybe even something more permanent?
Happens to the best of us.
Hong Kong's electric energy, Vietnam's compelling culture, Thailand's tempting shores, or, Singapore's impressive efficiency, chances are one of these has popped into your thoughts.
They're definitely at the top of many lists, and for good reason. Each offers a truly distinct experience that caters to, well, different interests and priorities.
Exactly. And that's precisely what we're digging into today. You shared some fantastic material with us, a really insightful comparative look at these 4 destinations, plus some valuable boots-on-the-ground perspectives from fellow travelers.
Right.
Consider this your fast track to getting a real feel for what makes each of them tick.
Yeah, our goal here is to go beyond just the surface level stuff. We want to extract the core essence of each location, from its economic engine to its culinary soul, and weave in those personal experiences to give you a much richer, more nuanced understanding.
All right, let's unpack Hong Kong first. The overview we looked at highlights it as a major global financial hub. We're talking about a really strong services sector, those famously low taxes everyone talks about, and a super active stock market, right? What's the engine behind all that?
Well, Hong Kong's prominence as a financial center isn't solely down to low taxes, although that's certainly a draw. Its strategic geographical position, acting as a gateway between the West and mainland China, coupled with a well-established legal system and sophisticated financial infrastructure, has cultivated this powerful services sector.
Yeah.
That dynamic stock market you mentioned. It thrives on both local and international investment, reflecting that underlying economic strength and, global connectivity.
Geographically, it strikes me as a place of contrasts. Small and mountainous, yet it packs in so much urban development around those incredible natural harbors reaching for the sky with those iconic skyscrapers. How has that limited space shaped the city?
The scarcity of flatland has fundamentally shaped Hong Kong's urban form, leading to that remarkable vertical expansion. It's also why those natural harbors have always been so crucial for trade and transportation. They are kind of the lifeblood of its economy. You see how the geography and the economy are intrinsically linked there.
Interesting. Now, when we look at safety, the general picture is low violent crime, which is reassuring. However, one of our sources did bring up political unrest as a factor to consider. How significant a concern is that for someone thinking of visiting or maybe even moving there?
Yeah, it's important to acknowledge that while day-to-day crime rates are generally low, the sociopolitical landscape has seen periods of instability. The impact on a traveler can vary, depending on the specific circumstances and locations within the city. It's something to be aware of and, to stay informed about.
Right, makes sense. Getting around Hong Kong sounds like a breeze, though. That efficient and extensive public transport system, the MTR, those classic trams, the buses, it sounds like you can get just about anywhere without needing a car.
Absolutely. Hong Kong boasts a truly world-class public transportation network. It's reliable, affordable, and covers pretty much the entire territory,
Right.
making car ownership almost unnecessary for most residents and incredibly convenient for visitors.
Weather-wise, we're looking at that subtropical climate, hot and pretty humid summers with milder winters. So if you're planning a trip, lightweight and breathable are the key words for your wardrobe, I guess.
Definitely. That high humidity is a constant, so choosing the right fabrics will make a big difference in your comfort. Be prepared for potentially intense heat in the summer months as well.
And linguistically, Cantonese is what you'll hear most, but it's good to know that English is also widely spoken. That must make it easier for a lot of people to navigate, those first few days, at least in tourist areas.
Yeah, that historical connection to Britain has left a lasting legacy of English proficiency, particularly in business and tourist-facing sectors. It's certainly a significant advantage for international visitors and residents.
Finally, the food. Dim sum, those delicious roast meats, fresh seafood. It sounds like a real culinary adventure with a great mix of local flavors and international influences.
Oh, Hong Kong's food scene is a vibrant reflection of its history and its position as a global city. You can find everything from traditional Cantonese dishes to high-end international cuisine, and the quality is generally exceptional. It's really something.
Now, one of the personal travel accounts we looked at was from someone on a cruise who stopped in Hong Kong. They made a really interesting point, saying that it still has a very British feel in many ways, which makes sense given its past, but with this really strong Chinese influence woven throughout. What does that kind of East meets West dynamic feel like on the ground?
What's truly captivating about Hong Kong is precisely that fusion. You see it in the architecture, the language, even in the way people approach business and daily life. It's a unique cultural tapestry woven from its colonial history and its deep Chinese roots, creating an atmosphere, well, unlike anywhere else.
Okay, let's shift gears now and take a deep dive into Vietnam. Economically, it seems like a very different story, right? A rapidly expanding economy driven by manufacturing, exports, and attracting a lot of foreign investment. What's fueling that growth?
Yeah, Vietnam's impressive economic growth is largely fueled by its role as a rising manufacturing hub, particularly in sectors like electronics and textiles. Its strategic location, competitive labor costs, and government efforts to attract foreign direct investment have all contributed to this dynamic expansion in global supply chains. It's really taken off.
Geographically, it's much more diverse than Hong Kong, that long, winding coastline, and then this incredible variety of landscapes, from mountains up north to fertile river deltas down south. How does that geographical diversity play into the country's development?
Well, that diverse geography provides Vietnam with a wide array of natural resources and agricultural potential, which has supported different sectors of its economy. The long coastline is crucial for trade and fishing, while the fertile deltas are vital for agriculture, like rice. And the mountainous regions offer opportunities for tourism and natural resource extraction.
Crime-wise, the sources mention moderate levels, with petty theft and scams being the main things to be aware of, especially in tourist hotspots. It sounds like the standard advice for travelers applies: just keep your wits about you.
Exactly. Like in many popular tourist destinations, exercising common sense and being aware of your surroundings, particularly in crowded areas, is always a good practice to minimize the risk of petty theft or scams. You know the drill.
Transportation seems to be dominated by motorbikes, which paints a pretty chaotic but also kind of exciting picture of city life. But it's good to hear that metro systems are starting to pop up in the major cities. How is that changing things?
Right. While motorbikes remain a primary mode of transport, especially in the bustling urban centers, it's quite a sight. The development of metro systems in cities like Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City is a significant step towards modernizing public transit, easing traffic congestion, and offering a more, well, efficient way for people to get around. It's a work in progress, though.
The weather in Vietnam sounds quite different depending on where you are. Tropical heat and humidity in the south, more of a temperate climate up in the north, and those distinct wet and dry seasons to keep in mind when planning a visit. Does that seasonal variation significantly impact travel experiences?
Absolutely. Planning your trip around Vietnam's distinct wet and dry seasons is crucial. For example, the rainy season can bring heavy downpours and flooding in certain areas, which could affect travel plans and outdoor activities. The temperature variations between the north and south also mean you'll need to pack accordingly, depending on your itinerary. Definitely check the forecast for where you're going.
Language-wise, Vietnamese is the official language, and English is spoken in the more touristy urban areas. However, one of our travelers had a pretty strong reaction to the language barrier.
Yes, the prevalence of English can be quite localized. While you'll find more English spoken in tourist hubs and maybe among younger generations, venturing outside those areas can present more significant communication challenges. It's something to be prepared for.
And the food. Food, Bami, just thinking about them makes me hungry. Plus all those fresh herbs and rice-based dishes. Vietnamese cuisine has such a great reputation for being fresh and flavorful.
Oh, Vietnamese cuisine is truly exceptional, known for its delicate balance of sweet, sour, salty, and spicy flavors, the generous use of fresh herbs, really fresh, and its diverse regional specialties, many of which are indeed based around rice and noodles. It's fantastic.
Now let's dig into those personal travel insights for Vietnam. The cruise traveler's itinerary included Hanoi, the breathtaking Halong Bay, Da Nang, which then noted felt more like an industrial port, interestingly, and then the vibrant Ho Chi Minh City, or Saigon. And it sounds like the war sites and the Cu Chi tunnels really had a profound impact on them, becoming the highlight of their entire trip. What is it about those historical sites that resonates so strongly with visitors?
Visiting those historical sites, like the Cu Chi tunnels and the war memorials, offers a powerful and often sobering perspective on Vietnam's history and its resilience. They provide a tangible connection to the past and can be deeply moving experiences, fostering a greater understanding of the country's journey. It's quite intense for many people.
But the same traveler also raised a really important point for anyone heading to Vietnam who primarily speaks English. They described it as an enormous language barrier, and their big piece of advice was to consider guided tours to help navigate that. What are some other strategies someone could use to bridge that gap?
Well, the traveler's experience really highlights a key consideration for independent travelers. While guided tours can certainly smooth the way, Other strategies include utilizing translation apps on your smartphone. They're getting pretty good. Learning a few basic Vietnamese phrases, even just hello and thank you, and being prepared for potential communication challenges with patients and a willingness to use nonverbal cues.
Right, pointing and smiling goes a long way sometimes.
Exactly. Connecting with local guides or even just staff at guest houses can also often provide invaluable assistance.
They also mentioned really appreciating the local temples and the prevalence of Eastern religions they encountered. That spiritual aspect seems to be a significant part of the Vietnamese cultural landscape.
Definitely. Exploring the religious and spiritual sites in Vietnam, whether they be Buddhist temples, Taoist shrines, or other places of worship, offers a fascinating glimpse into the country's cultural values and traditions, adding a deeper dimension to the travel experience beyond just the usual tourist spots.
All right, next up on our virtual journey, Thailand. Economically, it's described as having a pretty diverse base with strong contributions from tourism, agriculture, and manufacturing. How do these different sectors kind of interact and support the overall economy?
Yeah, Thailand's economic strength really comes from this diversification. Tourism is obviously a major revenue generator and job creator, while agriculture remains a significant sector, employing a large portion of the population, especially in rural areas. The manufacturing sector, particularly in areas like automotive and electronics, contributes significantly to exports and economic growth, creating a more resilient economic foundation overall. They're not reliant on just one thing.
Geographically, Thailand also offers a lot of variety from beautiful beaches and tropical islands down south to lush mountains up north and fertile plains in the center. It really does sound like a destination with something to appeal to a wide range of travelers.
Its varied geography is definitely one of Thailand's biggest draws, catering to diverse interests. Whether you're looking for relaxation on stunning beaches, adventure and trekking in the northern mountains, or exploring the cultural heartland and ancient ruins in the central plains, there's something for pretty much everyone.
Safety-wise, the word is generally safe, which is good to hear, but with a note about tourist scams in certain areas and occasional periods of unrest, maybe politically. So, again, just being mindful of your surroundings and potential pitfalls.
Pretty much. As with any popular tourist destination, it's wise to be aware of common tourist scams, tuk-tuk scams, gem scams, that kind of thing, and to exercise caution, especially in crowded areas like markets or major tourist sites. Staying informed about any potential social or political developments is also advisable, though usually these don't directly impact most tourist areas heavily.
Getting around in cities like Bangkok sounds like it's fairly well developed in terms of public transport, but the classic big city problem traffic congestion gets a mention. Is it easy to navigate Thailand without getting stuck in traffic all the time?
Well, Bangkok specifically. While it has made strides in developing its public transportation system, including the BTS SkyTrain and the MRT subway, traffic congestion can still be a significant challenge, particularly during peak hours. It can be gridlock. Using a combination of public transport, river taxis on the Chao Phraya River, which is a great way to see things too, and being strategic about travel times can help mitigate this. Sometimes walking is fastest.
The weather in Thailand is warm pretty much year-round, which sounds appealing to those of us in cooler climates, but with those distinct rainy and dry seasons. When are the best times to visit to avoid the heaviest rainfall?
Generally, the dry season, which varies slightly depending on the region, but often runs from about November to February, March, is considered the best time to visit Thailand for most activities. It offers sunny skies and lower humidity. However, the shoulder seasons, like just before or after the main rainy season, can also offer pleasant weather with fewer crowds and sometimes lower prices. The main rainy season can involve short, intense downpours rather than all-day rain, though.
Language is primarily Thai, but it's helpful to know that English is spoken in the areas that see a lot of tourists. You can probably get by in most common tourist situations with English, right?
Yes, in tourist hotspots like Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Phuket, and other popular islands, you'll typically find a sufficient level of English proficiency to handle most everyday interactions, ordering food, booking tours, checking into hotels, stuff like that. However, learning a few basic Thai phrases like Sawasdi, hello, and Kop Kun, thank you, can certainly enhance your experience and is always appreciated by locals.
Good tip. And the food, spicy curries, the ever-popular pad thai, so iconic, and all those amazing tropical fruits. Thai cuisine is definitely a global favorite for its bold and aromatic flavors.
Oh, absolutely. Thai cuisine is world-renowned for its vibrant flavors, aromatic herbs and spices, lemongrass, galangal, kaffir lime leaves, and the incredible variety of dishes. From spicy green curry and rich massaman curry to refreshing papaya salad, somtum. And of course, those delicious tropical fruits like mango, durian, and mangosteen. It's a feast.
Our cruise traveler also made a stop in Thailand, specifically hitting up Bangkok and Pattaya Beach. It sounds like those are pretty standard destinations for a first-time visitor to get a taste of what Thailand offers.
Yeah, Bangkok and Pattaya are indeed popular choices, especially for shorter trips or as part of a wider tour. They offer a mix of cultural experiences, temples, and bustling city life in Bangkok, and then the beachside relaxation and, well, lively nightlife in Pattaya. They provide good introduction to some of Thailand's key attractions, though Thailand has so much more to offer beyond just those two.
Okay, last but certainly not least on our tour of Asia, let's dive into Singapore. Economically, it's often held up as a model, right? One of the wealthiest nations globally, boasting a high GDP per capita, incredibly business-friendly policies, and a really robust financial sector. What are some of the key factors that have driven that economic success?
Singapore's remarkable economic ascent is really a fascinating story. It's a result of strategic long-term planning, a strong emphasis on education and developing human capital, creating a very welcoming environment for foreign investment with low corruption, and a highly efficient and transparent regulatory framework. It's focused on developing key sectors like finance, technology, biotech, and logistics. Leveraging its port has also been absolutely crucial. It's very deliberate.
Geographically, it's fascinating. A small island city-state, incredibly urbanized, with very limited natural resources. And it's not just the main island. It includes 63 smaller islands. Plus, I was surprised to read about their ongoing land reclamation efforts. They're literally expanding their territory. How does that impact their development and sustainability?
Yeah, given its tiny land area, Singapore's proactive and pretty aggressive approach to land reclamation has been essential for its continued development and economic growth. It provides space for infrastructure, housing, industry, even bayports. However, it absolutely raises important questions about environmental sustainability and the long-term impact on marine ecosystems, coastal erosion, and sand sourcing. It's a constant balancing act for them.
Now, when it comes to crime, Singapore has this reputation for being incredibly safe, often cited as one of the safest places worldwide. That's attributed to their famously strict laws and really efficient law enforcement. We even have those specific examples, the ban on importing or selling chewing gum and strict rules against vaping. It sounds like they take public order very, very seriously.
They absolutely do. Singapore's unwavering commitment to law and order is a cornerstone of its societal stability and exceptionally low crime rates. Those specific regulations, like the chewing gum thing, which is more about cleanliness than anything else, or the vaping ban, while sometimes surprising or even seeming excessive to visitors, are part of a broader cultural emphasis on maintaining a clean, safe, and orderly environment for everyone. There are fines for lots of things, like littering or jaywalking.
Getting around Singapore sounds like a dream. A super efficient, clean, and extensive public transport network. The MRT and buses seem to be the way to go, and the recommendation to grab an EZ-Link tourist pass sounds like a smart move. Though I did note that taxis are on the pricier side compared to public transport.
Singapore's public transportation system is truly a marvel of efficiency and convenience. It's often cited as one of the best in the world. The MRT, Mass Rapid Transit, and bus network are comprehensive, affordable, air-conditioned, and meticulously maintained, making it incredibly easy to navigate the entire city-state. The EZ-Link card, or a tourist pass version, simplifies payment immensely. Taxis are readily available and reliable, but generally more expensive, so public transport is definitely the preferred option for most people, tourists, and locals alike.
Weather-wise, it sounds like you need to be prepared for consistent heat and humidity year-round, being so close to the equator with frequent rainfall, often short, sharp showers. The advice to pack extra clothes and take it easy when you first arrive makes total sense.
Definitely.
And surprisingly, it can actually get fairly cold indoors due to the strong air conditioning, and there's that haze season from Sumatran fires to be aware of. It sounds like you need to pack for multiple microclimates.
That's a great way to put it. Singapore's tropical climate demands lightweight clothing, cotton, linen, quick-drying stuff. The humidity means you'll likely sweat, so an extra shirt is wise. The strong air conditioning in malls, cinemas, and offices can indeed feel quite chilly after being outside, so having a light sweater or cardigan isn't a bad idea. And yes, the haze, usually occurring during the dry season in neighboring Sumatra due to forest fires, is an environmental factor that can sometimes affect air quality and visibility, usually between June and October, though it varies year to year.
Language in Singapore is fascinating. It's officially multilingual with English, Mandarin, Malay, and Tamil. That really reflects its diverse cultural makeup. How does that multilingualism play out in daily life?
Singapore's multilingualism is a core part of its identity, a testament to its multicultural heritage. While all four are official languages, English serves as the primary language of business, government, and education, acting as a sort of unifying bridge language. But you'll absolutely hear a mix of languages, and often Singlish, a unique local patois blending English with words and grammar from the other languages in everyday conversation in hawker centers on the streets. It reflects the diverse communities living and working side by side. Most people are bilingual, if not trilingual.
And the food in Singapore. It sounds like a real melting pot of Chinese, Malay, Indian, and Western influences, plus Peranakan, which is a unique blend itself. Hainanese chicken rice and laksa are must-tries, and those hawker centers sound incredible, a unique regulated dining experience, some even boasting Michelin stars. But a word of caution for those with sensitive stomachs with all the street food around.
Oh, Singapore is a true gastronomic paradise, no question. Centuries of cultural exchange have resulted in this incredibly vibrant and diverse culinary scene. Hawker centers are a quintessential Singaporean experience. They're basically large, government-regulated food courts offering a huge array of delicious and remarkably affordable dishes from various cuisines. The hygiene standards are generally very high, and yes, some stalls have even earned Michelin Bib Gourmands or even stars, which is amazing for the price. While the street food and hawker food is generally very safe and fantastic, those with particularly delicate stomachs might want to ease into it, maybe stick to busier stalls initially.
Now let's delve into the wealth of personal insights we have for Singapore. The cruise traveler was really impressed, describing it as super clean, efficient, and packed with things to see and do, definitely recommending a longer stay than just a cruise stop.
Yeah, that positive feedback really underscores Singapore's reputation as a well-organized, modern, and captivating destination that often leaves a lasting positive impression on visitors. It packs a lot into a small space.
Another travel account really highlighted the government's active role in maintaining public order, mentioning those fines for seemingly minor things like chewing gum, vaping, even feeding pigeons or not flushing a public toilet, all aimed at discouraging unpleasant behavior. From a tourist perspective, they found it quite impressive, if a bit strict.
Right. The emphasis on public order and cleanliness is a very deliberate policy that contributes significantly to Singapore's safe and pleasant environment. It's often something that visitors readily notice and, frankly, often appreciate, even if the rules seem strict compared to home. It's just part of the social contract there.
Singapore is also called a foodie's dream, by one account, emphasizing the Indonesian, Bangladeshi, Indian, beyond just standard curries, and Northern Asian influences beyond the better-known Chinese, Malay, and Indian staples. It sounds like a real adventure for your taste buds, constantly discovering new things.
Absolutely. The sheer variety and depth of Singapore's culinary scene truly make it a haven for food lovers. Because it's such a hub, you get influences from all over Asia and beyond. You can eat incredibly well for very little money at hawker centers or splurge on world-class fine dining. It's a constant discovery of new flavors and influences.
Now, for some really practical tips we gleaned, alcohol and cigarettes are apparently quite expensive due to high taxes. Good to keep in mind for budget planning if you partake.
Yes, definitely. Singapore heavily taxes alcohol and tobacco, so expect to pay significantly more for these than you might elsewhere in Southeast Asia or even back home. It's a sin tax policy.
Also, most Singaporeans live in public housing called HDB estates, Housing and Development Board flats. And subletting these HDB flats short-term to tourists isn't permitted. So tourist accommodation is typically hotels, service departments, or hostels.
That's an important point about accommodation. While HDB living is the norm for locals, tourist options are different. There are plenty of hotels across all budget ranges, though.
Free Wi-Fi is available in some public areas like malls or libraries through the wireless at SG network, but it can be spotty or require registration, so getting a tourist SIM card upon arrival at the airport is generally a good, reliable idea for connectivity.
Solid advice. Having reliable mobile data makes navigating, using ride-hailing apps, and looking things up much easier. Tourist SIMs are readily available and reasonably priced.
Even though there's a big push for cashless payments, contactless cards, mobile payments are very common, it's still a good idea to have some small cash on hand, especially for some smaller stalls in hawker centers or neighborhood shops. ATMs are easy to find everywhere.
Right. While Singapore is very digitally advanced payment-wise, cash hasn't entirely disappeared, particularly for small transactions. Having a bit on hand is useful.
Restaurants usually include a 10% service fee in the bill, plus the goods and services tax, GST, so tipping isn't really expected or customary on top of that.
Correct. Unlike in, say, the U.S., tipping is generally not practiced or required in Singapore, as the service charge is typically included.
And great news, you can drink the tap water. It's perfectly safe according to international standards.
Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
Singapore has excellent water treatment. No need to constantly buy bottled water, which is good for the wallet and the environment.
Also, be aware that you can't drink alcohol in public places, like parks or void decks of HDBs, from 10:30 p.m. to 7 a.m. Restaurants and bars are fine, of course, but open public consumption is restricted during those hours.
An important rule to know to avoid any trouble. It was brought in a few years ago.
It's a good idea to carry tissues or wet wipes with you. Sometimes restrooms, especially in older coffee shops or hawker centers, might not have toilet paper or they might charge for it. Also good for cleaning hands before eating street food.
Very practical tip. Locals often carry tissue packs for choping or reserving seats at hawker centers, too, by leaving the packet on the table.
Apparently, there are monthly light-up festivals in areas like Chinatown or Little India, often tied to cultural celebrations featuring bazaars and street performances that add to the vibrant atmosphere.
Yeah, Singapore has a packed calendar of cultural events and festivals throughout the year, often involving colorful decorations and special food markets. Worth checking what's on during your visit.
The parks are well-maintained and generally very safe. Some even have great facilities like playgrounds or barbecue pits, and day or even overnight trips to nearby Johor Bahru in Malaysia or islands like Batam or Bintan in Indonesia are easily arranged via ferry or bus.
Good points. Singapore is incredibly green despite its density, with lots of parks and nature reserves. And its proximity makes quick trips to neighboring countries very feasible for a change of scenery.
Finally, that fantastic list of attractions. Marina Bay Sands, the incredible gardens by the bay with the super trees and cooled conservatories, Universal Studios theme park on Sentosa Island.
Hmm.
And you can even walk there from the Vivacity MRT station via a scenic boardwalk, which is cool. The beautiful Singapore Botanic Gardens, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, free entry to most areas except the National Orchid Garden, the bustling districts of Chinatown and Little India, the iconic Singapore Flyer Observation Wheel,
Keep going.
all those amazing hawker centers for food exploration, the Singapore Zoo, Night Safari, and River Wonders Complex, Orchard Road for high-end shopping, Sim Lim Square for electronics, though be cautious there, Marina Bay Sands Hotel itself with its rooftop pool, and the nearby Merlion Park, including the Spectralight and water shows.
Right.
Clark Quay and Boat Quay for nightlife along the river, numerous beautiful temples like the colorful Sri Veeramakaliamman Temple in Little India, or the Grand Buddha Tooth Relic Temple in Chinatown, and a wealth of excellent museums like the Art Science Museum, the lotus-shaped building, the National Gallery Singapore, housing Southeast Asian art in stunning colonial buildings, and the National Museum of Singapore. Phew, you definitely won't run out of things to do.
That extensive list truly highlights the remarkable variety of experiences that Singapore offers, catering to a wide spectrum of interests, nature, culture, food, shopping, entertainment, history. It ensures there's something for pretty much everyone packed into that small island.
Okay, so we've taken a whirlwind tour of Hong Kong, Vietnam, Thailand, and Singapore. Looking at the big picture now, what are the real standout differences between these four fascinating destinations, just to sum it up?
Yeah, if we zoom out, Hong Kong really distinguishes itself as that high-energy global financial center, a
Correct.
unique fusion of British colonial history and deep Chinese culture, squeezed into a compact, vertical landscape. Feels very distinct. Vietnam, on the other hand, offers this compelling blend of rapid economic growth alongside incredibly diverse natural beauty, all layered with a rich, often poignant, recent history that's very tangible.
Mm-hmm.
Thailand presents perhaps a more traditionally relaxed Southeast Asian vibe, known for its strong tourism focus, but also having significant agriculture and manufacturing. Its geography caters to all tastes, from beaches to mountains to ancient cities. And Singapore. Well, Singapore stands out as this hyper-efficient, incredibly safe, clean, and prosperous city-state. It's a true melting pot of cultures, with a very strong emphasis on order, planning, and greenery. Very modern, very organized.
It's so clear that each of these places offers its own unique set of experiences and appeals to different priorities. So, for you, our listener, it really boils down to what you're looking for, doesn't it? Are you drawn to the fast paced world of finance and that East meets West energy?
Or maybe the immersion in a different cultural history and stunning natural landscapes.
Or perhaps the allure of stunning beaches, vibrant street food, and a more traditionally backpacker friendly vibe?
Or maybe the comfort of world-class efficiency, safety, cleanliness, and that multicultural food scene.
Precisely. There isn't really a single best choice here. It's entirely dependent on your individual needs, desires, and maybe even your travel style or what you prioritize in a potential move. What kind of adventure are you seeking? What kind of environment would you thrive in? These are the key questions to consider, I think.
Absolutely.
Considering these snapshots we've shared today, which of these destinations sparks your curiosity the most right now? And what specific aspect, whether it's the bustling markets, the serene temples, the incredibly efficient infrastructure, or maybe that diverse culinary landscape is really catching your attention? It's definitely worth exploring that initial spark a little further, maybe doing some more reading.
Absolutely. We've only really touched the surface in our discussion today, but we hope this deep dive has provided you with a solid foundation and some intriguing insights to guide your own explorations, whatever they may be. Thanks again for joining me for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time.
Goodbye.